Well, that's what I'm looking for.
Good evening, everyone. Parshat Korach. So it builds on what happened before. It builds on the Meragelim, on the Ma'apilim, two defeats. It builds on the Nisonanim, another defeat. It builds upon the Yisrael leaving them, another defeat. And it builds upon the fact that now they are told that they're not going to go to Eretz Yisrael this generation. They're going to expire in the desert, and that's it. So there are two ways of looking at this, at least. One way is that the people should consider what caused all of these defeats and failures, and they should reflect upon their own behavior, that the people are the ones that caused this. The people wanted the Meragelim, the people believed the Meragelim, the people sent the Ma'apilim, the people wanted meat. But the rule in society is that society rarely ever blames itself. So it blames the leadership. It's not their fault, it's Moshe's fault. Moshe could have prevented all of this. And it's his malfeasance, the fact that he didn't prevent it, that has allowed all of these troubles to come. And we all know that people always find it more convenient to ascribe faults to others than to themselves. And that's especially true in leadership cases. We read in the Megillah of Ruth on Shavua. Chazal say, what does it mean, Shvot HaShoftim? The people judge the judges. So by Hebrew war, it's the fault of the judges, not their fault. So therefore you have Korach. Korach is almost a natural reaction to all of the problems. Because Korach goes to the heart of the matter. He challenges the leadership. He says Moshe and Aaron are responsible for all of these troubles. So he puts together a cabal of people, each of whom has a different agenda. It's like making a cabinet in Israel. Everybody has their own reason. And what unites them is that they're against Moshe. So what does Korach want? So Rashi brings the great medrash that Eino Hita also. He made a mistake. He saw the future, and he saw that from him, his descendants would be those that gave birth to Shmuel Hanavi. And it says Moshe Aaron v'Choano u'Shmuel v'Korei Shmo. So he figured that if that is what his grandson is, we can imagine what he is, what the grandfather is. You know, I said when Dr. Aumann won the Nobel Prize, he's a member in our shul. We've down there for many years, and we moved down into the neighborhood. So at the Kiddush in his honor, I remarked that if that was the caliber of a member in the shul, you can just imagine what the rabbi must be. And that's what Korach. Korach, he's the equal of Moshe and Aaron. Because it says Shmuel b'korei Shmo, and Shmuel's him. And on that, we don't see Moshe Zeniklach any place later in any position of greatness or authority. So that's his contention. His contention is that he should be the leader. The group that he gathers around him, the Bnei Levi, they say we're just as big miyuchosim as Aaron. Aaron's a Levi, we're a Levi. And how come he's the Kohen Gadol, and his sons are the Kohanim, and only his sons can be the Kohanim, and only his direct descendants can be Kohanim? We're just as miyuchos as he is. The Kohanim are entitled to greater honors than the Leviim. They're entitled to greater gifts. Why? So the Leviim say that Moshe is guilty of nepotism. He gave his brother a job. He made Aaron the Kohen. Moshe puts his finger on it. Uvikashtem gam kahuna, rav lochem b'nei Levi. It's not enough for you that you're Leviim. You have to be the Kohen also. So that's another group of people. So they are tested with the machtos. You want to be a Kohen? Okay, here, we'll give you a chance. Bring the Ketores. Now the Ketores, as we know, they had great healing and positive powers. The Gemara says that the odor, fragrance of the Ketores was so great from the Beis Hamikdash that the Gemara says it as an exaggeration, but to make the point that the cows and bulls and sheep of Yericho were sneezing from it. That there's such a power to it. But it also was lethal. We saw what happened to Noah and Abiah, the two sons of Aaron that misused the Ketores, that brought an Eish Zorah. And throughout the Tanakh, we have incidents over and over again regarding the Ketores. So Moshe says, you want to be a Kohen, try it. But you should know that if you're wrong, it's fatal. Literally, you're playing with fire. So that was another group. They wanted to be the Kohen. Okay. And then there's another group, Dosan Vadiram, and their time is back to the beginning. Why did you take us out? That's what they call Mitzrayim. Mitzrayim is the land of milk and honey. You brought us here that we should all die. So you want to rule over us? We should listen to you. Why should we listen to you? You made the fatal mistake of taking us out of Egypt. So you have different ambitions here, different complaints. It's not one thing. The only thing that there is unity is that they're against Moshe. They blame Moshe for all of the troubles. And that's why Moshe insists that heaven take a role on his part. That he should make the people realize that it's them and not him. Because only then can something be saved and salvaged from the situation. As long as they think it's Moshe and as long as they think it's Aaron, then they're doomed. Because that's never the solution. The solution always lies with the people itself. And that's true throughout all the generations. The Tanakh, we read about the kings. There were good kings and there were kings that were not so good. But the Tanakh always measured it not in who the king was. What did the people do? Were the people good? Were the people observant? Were the people loyal? If that happened so that we could tolerate bad kings as well. But when the people broke down, as we see in the Navi Yeshaya and Yirmiyah, almost the people broke down, so then it made no difference who the leader was. That's the important lesson. That's really the takeaway from the Parsha of Korah. Says, there won't be any more a case like Korah and Ados. But the portion say, what do you mean it won't be? It's every generation we go through it. Every generation is Korah and Ados. And then my father told me that he heard from a Shimon Shkov, who said that Moshe and Korah was the only machlokas in Jewish history where the score was 100-0. Moshe is 100% right, Korah is 100% wrong. There is no such other machlokas. Other machlokas is 90-10, 80-20. Sometimes it's 51-49. Sometimes it's 50-50. But 100-0, that only happened once. And therefore, that's also one of the reasons why the Torah emphasizes this incident to us, to make it stick in our mind that we should remember that, because in every generation we face these same challenges from inside and have to be able to overcome them with the goodness and loyalty of the people. Yeah.